Hello and welcome, race fans. This is Talladega Super Speedway with the Super Speedway Cup Series, SSSeries.com, getting set for the Trophy Dash, the Dash for Cash race. 12 laps on the board at Talladega Super Speedway with race number 8 of 11. I am Dakota Ehrman, joined up at the broadcast booth by Chad Dalton, John Wessling, and JD Webb hanging around the production studios. And Chad Dalton getting set for another fantastic week of racing with the Super Speedway Cup Series, again, SSSeries.com.
Absolutely, Dakota. The last 2 weeks have been fantastic out here for these guys driving these cars. We saw them at Talladega a couple weeks ago, and they put on a fantastic race. Well, actually, several races there with some very close finishes. And obviously, we expect more of the same tonight. Should be a great time here tonight in Talladega.
That it should. And I'll tell you what, heat races have already gone off tonight. This is the race tonight, or this Trophy Dash will consist of the top four from each heat race tonight. But how about we go start with last week's results? When you look at last week's results, it was the heat race number 1 going to Terrence Donovan, heat race 2 to Victor Bartlett, and heat race 3 to Phil Foltz. Andrew Berger won the Dash for Cash with Mark Bryant coming home with the B main. The A main, the feature race though, is what we look at for top 10. Brandon Chaburko came home with the win with Andrew Berger in 2nd. Marcus Lambert came home 3rd. Josh Ball 4th. Scott Finstemacher coming home 5th.
And in 6th place, Dakota, was Rod Flagg. Coming home in 7th was Glenn Hendrick, and Jimmy Tolliver came home in 8th place. Daniel Holloway with a solid run came home in 9th place, and Victor Bartlett rounded out the top 10.
And I tell you what, moving into the heat race results from tonight, they've already taken place, so we're just about to start the Trophy Dash. Heat race number 1, walking through the top 10 here. Victor Bartlett, Rodney Wofford with the top 2 spots with Jimmy Tolliver and Kerry Witt running 3rd and 4th. Terrence Donovan 5th with Gary Tarvin 6th. James Hudson 7th with Michael Pimpere in 8th. Matt Burkhart came home in the 9th position with Matthew Nichols in 10th. Heat race number 2, I do believe, Chad.
Yeah, Dakota, in heat race number 2, Terrence Donovan led 8 laps and ended up winning heat race number 2. James Hudson came home in 2nd. Matt Burkhart came home in 3rd. Donnie Garanito came home in 4th. Josh Ball 5th. Rod Flagg in 6th. Scott Finstemacher came home in 7th. Raymond Edwards came home in 8th. Matthew Nichols in 9th. And Greg Hooks placed 10th.
And I'll tell you what, heat race number 3, how about Josh Ball coming home with the win in that race, only leading 1 lap. It was a lap that counted, the last lap. The guys that tied for the most laps led was Rod Flagg in 2nd, Matt Bontempi coming home 3rd. Both of them led 7 laps. Nobody else led a lap. Raymond Evans came home 4th. He locked himself in, as well as the 3 in front of him, into this Trophy Dash and into the feature race already. Scott Finstemacher came home 5th, just 1 spot shy of locking himself in. Michael Pimpere 6th. Daniel Holloway 1 lap down 7th. Michael Bowles and everyone on back also a lap down. Brandon Chaburko came home 9th, and Matthew Nichols 10th here as we get set for the Trophy Dash race here. Again, 12 laps on the board. We will also have a 15-lap B main, which will see at least 20 or more drivers on the track, where the top 12 advance to the feature race. Plus 1 provisional. We'll have a 25-car field for a 30-lap race at the large super speedway that is known as Talladega Super Speedway.
2.66 miles, big track, a lot of room to run 3, maybe even 4 wide around this place, Dakota, so we should see a lot of great racing here. The first race, these guys are going to be dicing and willing there to get to the checkered flag first.
And they will, and how about the field gridding here? Just about to get set for this 12-lap race. It will be, in just a moment, Victor Bartlett starting from the pole position in row number 1 with Terrence Donovan in 2nd in his 73 machine.
Starting in row number 2 from the 3rd position will be the 15 car of Josh Ball to his outside Ronnie Woodford.
How about row number 3 consisting of the 53 machine of James Hudson, on his outside the 23 machine, that is Rod Flagg.
Starting in 7th in the number 13 car will be Jimmy Tolliver, and to his outside the number 44 of Matt Burkhart.
About another Matt Bontempi rolling off 9th. If he rolls for some reason stalled on the grid here as the field rolls, and there goes Donnie Gaetano around him. He might lose a spot here. So you'd have Matt Bontempi and Kerry Witt making up the next row. That could change, so.
Yeah, and in the last row, Dakota, according to the grid at least, will be the 3 car of Donnie Garanito, and to his outside the 83 Raymond Edwards, Raymond Evans. Eventually I'll spit that out, but anyways, that is our 12-car field here for this 12-lap dash for cash.
And I'll tell you what, we work down through the backstretch here. A long pace lap here when it comes to Talladega Super Speedway. These guys know it, but these guys are all locked into the show. Where they finish here determines where they start in the feature race. I know there's a small prize up on the line here as well. You've got to keep your eye on that as well. But there's a lot of past winners of this race in here. And we got a pretty strong field, pretty good field in here tonight. Going to be a lot of fun to watch these guys go 12 laps at Talladega. Some of the best at it. This is one of the fastest Super Speedway leagues around. Again, ssseries.com. They have a Thursday night truck series also you can check out. If you can't quite make it the Friday night series, I know they'd love to have you come down, though. Do check them out. As we work through 3 and 4, pace car will dive as soon as they get off turn number 4.
And we're getting a little bit accustomed there, Dakota, to seeing the Victor Bartlett number 42 machine starting up near the front in these races. He's always a player. We also see Terrence Donovan, who's starting to go outside. Those two are usually the players out here in Super Speedway Cup Series. And I'm telling you what, we're remember here, folks, Talladega start-finish line not in the tri-oval like it is at Daytona. It is past the tri-oval, so that allows these guys a little bit more time to set up a last lap pass. And we're entering that tri-oval right now. Dakota, we're going green.
And about the 43 or 42 and 15, Josh Ball, Victor Bartlett on the inside. They're already pushing as the green flag flies at Talladega Super Speedway. Flagman drops that green flag. 42 leads it.
Pretty good start through the field right now, as the 42 and the 15 are still locked up down there on the inside line. No one else on the track right now is pushing. However, the 15 and the 42 are the only two right now that are pushing. Now a couple of cars behind them get locked up, the 7 and the 73. On the outside, Terrence Donovan trying to make that number 73 DeWalt Chevy to the front with the 7 of Rodney Wolford all over his rear bumper right now, as it's pretty organized right now as the drivers head on into turns number 3 and 4.
Sorry about that. 42 and 15 hooked up on the inside. They're kind of pulling away just a little bit here. They have a bit of a gap back to the 53. Here comes the 73, Donovan and Wofford on the outside making a strong run. 44 looking very outside. He's looking 3 wide high. He drops back in line behind the 23, Rod Flagg. How about Rod Flagg locking himself into this race and running up front early? That's something you don't usually see. 23 kind of comes out of nowhere at the end of the race. Maybe try a different strategy here as he works the outside lane behind the 7 of Rodney Wofford. Donovan and Wofford hooked up and trying to make the outside lane work. I would say they're doing a pretty good job of it because they're kind of creeping up side by side of the leader now.
That they are, Dakota's getting pretty close there to pulling even with our 2 leaders right now, the 42 and the 15. But they're going to stall out just a little bit there in turn number 3 and 4 and fade back just a little bit. Josh Ball, though, has been pushing the 42 of Victor Bartlett since the drop of the green flag. So that's a couple laps now. He's got to watch his gauges here in about a lap or so. Make sure he doesn't get the car too overheated. Looks like he's going to creep out just a little there, trying to cool the engine a hair. But those two continue the lead right now, as got a little bit of movement there towards the back of the field as they headed off into turn number 3, but everybody is still moving forward and is safe for the moment. But I'm getting a little worried about the 15 of Josh Ball. Hopefully he'll keep an eye on those gauges here in a lap or so there, Dakota, because he's been pushing for a long time.
Yeah, pushing for a long time can be bad. We're in lap 3, coming to get lap 4. This is about the time you see the engines get extremely hot. You see the switches here, you see the guys backing off, you see the outside lane falling back. 15 to the outside for a second. He's going to dive back down, just trying to cool down the engine. That slows down the leaders and also gives draft to the 73. Here comes the 73 and the 7. That's Donovan and Wofford on the outside looking to make another run. 44 moved around the inside. He's all over the bumper of the 53. James Hudson. Here comes the 73. Side by side with the 15 for second place. That's Josh Ball. And here he comes towards the 42 of Victor Bartlett coming off of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway.
Very good racing here at the Talladega Super Speedway. Right now the 73 getting another little bit of a run there as the 15 comes disconnected with the 42 of Victor Bartlett. So now the 73 of Terrence Donovan had there for a slight moment of fender out front, but the 42 now pulling them back as they come off of turn number 4. And now we should see a pretty good run from the 73, and we will, as the 15 got slightly disconnected there again. Josh Ball and the 15 Bass Pro Shop Chevy, and the 73, Terrence Donovan, leads that lap, and we have a new leader.
Yeah, new leader, but not for long. Maybe the 15 kind of creeping back up towards the bumper of the 42 on the inside. The leaders up front on the outside kind of backed up and separated, still trying to keep the engines cool. 73 not clearing anyone. You could see the 7 possibly go 3 wide through the middle. That's one of the things you got to look for. 15 still kind of riding off the bumper, kind of peeking down, trying to get air. He now falls off the 42. The 42 working the inside lane will have the advantage through the corner as he's going to go up. The 42, Victor Bartlett, trying to move up, and he was trying to get in front of the 73, so the 73 would push him, and he was able to stick with the lead. That just like split everybody up, confused everybody, and maybe slowed everybody down. As now the 73 will be clear out front on the very outside. Will he leave the 7 hanging? He may or may not. Yeah, he's gonna leave. He's gonna have to. He's got no other choice right now. As he now comes to the inside, cuts off the 15. The 15 is gonna be hot. He's been pushing for a while. The guy that won't be hot, the 23. Oh, 53. James Hudson. Oh, 7. Matt Bontempi also collected. They're all right in the end. He came back up. There were 4 wide back there. Came back up. I believe the 53 came back up, collected somebody. That was the 13 of Jimmy Tolliver, who was 11th position. This was coming off turn number 2. Big mess there.
Yeah, those two cars, the 13 and I think it was the 20 machine, are wrecking there on the back straightaway. But again, Dakota, no yellow flags will be displayed here tonight, as the flagman is only told to display the green, white, and the checkered here in the Super Speedways Cup. As the battle for the lead heating up, though, the 73 now on the inside with Josh Ball pushing him. And Rod Flagg, remember you were talking about him a minute ago. He doesn't usually show up until the end of these things, but he is pushing the 42 of Victor Bartlett on the outside. Now he comes disconnected as they came off turn number 2, and he will drop to the inside line. And here comes the 44 and the 7 back up with a huge head of steam.
And the 42 just lost his partner. 42 going backwards in the middle in a hurry. That's Bartlett, who was scored second last time by. Wofford looking on the outside with Raymond Evans in the 83. 44 gets to the apron, slides a little bit off the bumper of the 23. 23, 3 wide on the inside. 42 middle, Raymond Evans 83 outside. Looks like the 42 might be clear to the inside here. That could be Rod Flagg letting him in, and 42 does dive down the inside. Now 2 wide throughout the field as we work through 1 and 2. As the 83 goes underneath the 7. 3 wide for a moment. 3 wide still. It's going to be 3 wide. That's all it's going to be. The 7 falls back. We work lap 8 of 12. Just 5 laps remaining here at Talladega Super Speedway as we work to the backstretch and into turn number 3.
And one of the things that I'm keeping my eye on here, Dakota, is that 15 of Josh Ball. He has pretty much stayed the second car in line the whole way. Now, he hasn't been pushing the whole time, but he's been directly behind somebody. So his engine is running fairly hot, so it's going to be difficult for him to push somebody when we come down to the last lap, because his engine is going to be hotter than most of these people's, I would imagine, and so it could be a little bit difficult for him to time his push for whoever happens to end up in front of him when we come to the white flag, because obviously this is going to change a lot. 4 laps to go right now. Terrence Donovan leads the way.
And how about that 44 on the outside lane? That is the 44 of Matt Burkhart all over the bumper of Bartlett. Here they come on the outside. Head of steam as the 73 and 15 split up. 15's been pushing for, remember, just about the whole time. He hasn't had a whole lot of clean air. As he's got to back off the bumper of the 73 for a lot here, looking for the air. And here comes the 42, 44. Bartlett and Burkhart. And Bartlett clears the 73. Donovan and Burkhart stays on the outside. It gave room to the 42, and now he gets help from the 7. 73 and 42 hooked up. This is a good pair with just 3 laps remaining. Oh,
there they
wreck,
go.
15, 44.
Boy, hard crash for Josh Ball. He went head on to the wall and then barrel rolled several times. Unfortunately, that's going to do it in this race for Josh Ball with a heavy, heavy crash right there. Entering turn number 1, he and the 44 made contact. And unfortunately, Josh Ball's day in this race is done, but of course we'll see him later in the feature.
That we will. He not over. His day in this race is done, but he does have a 30-lap race for redemption. He may start rear of the field or close to rear of the field. We already have 2 drivers 3 laps down, so I mean he could start at least 10th depending on where they are. Yeah, at least 10th. I want to say he probably would finish 10th or maybe 9th. Depending on how far back he falls, but right now he's in a pretty good spot. to not be the last car on the grid, as the other two are now 4 laps down. There's no way they can pass him, as the 42 and 73 still lead the way. How about the 23 and the 89 hooked up behind them, as they're going to be coming to the white flag this time by. It's going to be 1 lap remaining when they get to the start-finish line to take lap number 12 here at Talladega Superspeedway, as we work through 3 and 4, the 23 and 89 making up some ground using the draft. I think they're trying to time this exactly right. They've got the cars lined up how they need them. 89 trying to make sure he's cool. He's staying off the bumper there, as 73 42 kind of staying off the bumper. And here they come, 23 and 89 making a huge run, and here they go to the outside. Maybe watching the 89, he's ready to go. 23 looking to go or not. He's waiting to make the move, I think, at the right time. 73 might block. These guys are all going to the outside. And here comes Rod Flag to the inside. Donovan's hung out on the outside. Bartlett comes in to block the inside. He'll not have help. Oh! Flag gets the bumper of the 73 wrong with the 42. And that sent him down the apron. And he lost a lot of time. Now it's going to be up to Witt and Donovan.
And Victor Bartlett, and right now the 89 is pushing, that's Mr. Witt, is pushing Victor Bartlett. Coming out of the turn, they've kind of left Terrence Donovan behind there. Where will the 89 make his move? He looks to the outside, entering the tri-oval. Not sure if he's going to get a good run, but it's going to be very close as they come to the checkered flag, and it is Victor Bartlett winning the Dash for Cash 12-lap race here at Talladega Superspeedway, but not by much, over the 89 car of Kerry Witt, who, remember, Dakota started in 10th in this race.
Yeah, 33 thousandths of a second would be the finishing margin here, as we now try to get our winner on the radio. And I do believe we have him. It's Victor Bartlett. And Victor, man, you did it. You got that victory lane.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I was a little worried there. I seen Rod coming down to the inside, and that's when I knew I needed to go down there and block him a little bit, but I knew the 89 was going to try me, and I just had to block him. So it worked out. It's been a while. Excited, but it's been a while since I've been to victory lane.
And man, it's a prestigious race to get to victory lane, because I know there's a small prize, and you get the pole position when it comes to the feature race.
Yes, which is a really good thing. I've been trying to get myself back into the top 10 in points, and I'm slowly getting there, but that'll help out a little bit as long as I can stay up front.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people say when they get the pole, they want to stay up front all race. I rarely hear the strategy of dropping to the back and riding around or anything from the pole sitter. Is that going to be the same thing for you here tonight?
Neither did I when I got to the bottom behind. Close.
It's kind of hard just to stay in the back, because it's so hard trying to work your way all the way up to the front, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I don't want to give everybody my strategy.
Be in front there. Go ahead and throw out any shout-outs you may have.
I want to throw a shout-out to Rod for putting on this league. It's a really good league, and to my teammates.
Alright, thank you, and tell you what, we'll see you in the feature race. You'll be starting front of the pole, so definitely we'll hear your name called several times.
10-4, thank you.
And that was Victor Bartlett. Now go ahead, step away, take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with more action from Super Speedway Cup, SSSeries.com. We are ETV Live, powered by the HD Radio Network.
If you're a serious online racing enthusiast, you need Derek Spear Design, maker of high-quality, custom-built, and 50-caliber strong simulation racing products like button boxes, shifter pedals, component parts, and more. The advantage a championship sim racing driver needs. Rated 10 out of 10 by Inside Sim Racing TV. Check out his line of top-shelf sim racing products, reasonably priced at DerekSpearDesigns.com, and buckle in for a no-nonsense ride. DerekSpearDesigns.com today, cowboy. listeners where you could hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV live sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks. HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.
And we're back live at Talladega Super Speedway with the Super Speedway Cup Series, SSSeries.com. Check them out. Again, have a truck series on Thursday nights and their Super Speedway Cup Series on Friday nights. How about Glacier TV offering many of the same high-quality components and commitment to their product as ETV Live? Glacier TV is your first and best choice for broadcasting road racing events, specializing in multi-class events with qualified commentators and reasonably priced. ETV Live is proud to endorse Glacier TV as the premier broadcast group for all your road racing needs. See them at glaciertv.com or contact them by email at sales@glaciertv.com. Here is we work through warm up with just about 5 minutes remaining here, 6 minutes remaining before we get to the grid with 15 laps and at least, generally about a 20-car field here.
Yeah, definitely a good-sized field of cars here, Dakota. Remember, 15 laps, as you just spoke of. So this should be another great race here with the Super Speedway Cup Series, and looking forward to seeing who will advance to tonight's feature race from this event.
And this is one of the most prestigious races of the nights. Again, it's the guys that need to qualify their way into the show. It makes it a big deal. The whole race, just entirely, it's got so much prestige to it. It's just a fantastic race. We hear all the time, this is probably the most exciting race of the night. Can't disagree with you. I mean, this is where the racing action happens. It's where they've got to go. They know they have to go. They know they can't wreck. They know they've got to be up front or be so far up so that they can finish. And advance into that feature race. That's what it's all about. And how about not in yet, the 39 of Brandon Chaburko, points leader currently. He's going to be in this race. He's one of those drivers that's thinking, I got to go. I got to be up front. I've got to be in this. I've got to lock myself in. I cannot wreck here.
Well, in Dakota, he was also last week's A-Main feature race winner. So Brandon Chaburko, with a little bit of work here to do, like you mentioned, he's the points leader, so it'll be interesting to keep our eye on that number 39 machine and see if he can make his way into the feature tonight here at Talladega Super Speedway.
Definitely. And, he could have the championship provisional. And,
yeah, that's true.
And I wonder, the 24, Andrew Berger, and the 6, who was fourth in points. So Berger's tied for the points lead, and then there's a 6 car who's fourth in points. Both drivers are not here. And the 6 is Marcus Lambert. Both drivers not attending tonight. This could be a big hit in the points again. They do have drop weeks, I do believe, so this will be one of those nights that we knocked off. I believe they take off the worst week or maybe worst 2 weeks of points, and then they add that up at the end of the standings, and the guy with the most points minus those 2 weeks is the points champion.
Yeah, so like you mentioned, they got drop weeks. They can rely on those by not being here this evening, but I know it's disappointing that they will have to rely on those, because I'm sure they would love to be here racing tonight and trying to bring home a W for their respective teams, but unfortunately they won't make it tonight. But just checking out the warm-up charts here, Dakota, for our B-Main race right now. We have a few cars out on track, making sure that their cars are warmed up and ready to go for this B-Main race. And right now, Michael Bowles has jumped to the top of the leaderboard in his number 29 machine, with Stefan Meyer pushing him. It would appear, as they've been working in a 2-car draft here in this warm-up session, that has about 3 minutes, give or take, left until we grid them up.
Just about 3 minutes remaining here in this final session. And I tell you what, man, I'm really looking forward to this. Another, race. And when you think about when we had to go back and again talk about Brandon Chaburko not locked in this event, he won last week. He won the feature race. He's capable of winning events. He's got to lock himself in there, though. I mean, he led 21 laps of the 30 last week. the guy he's chasing or working with in points, the guy who's tied with him in the point standings for the lead, is only led six laps last week and ended up running second. It was a big wreck last week, if you do remember, that would end up seeing those two drivers separated from the field by 14 seconds. And it would be Chiburko at the start-finish line. It was a really good race. Only won it by 44 thousandths of a second. Chiburko, if he can get in, he knows how to get it done, and he doesn't have the same competition he had last week with the guy, the one car, or not the one car, Andrew Berger, who was, I believe, in the 24, who started first last week. He won't be here. And then the guy who finished third last week was Marcus Lambert. He's not going to be here either. I mean, that's, two cars that, ran well last week that aren't here. So long as Brandon Chiburko makes the show, he could have a really good point stay here.
Absolutely, Dakota. And I'll tell you what, going back to that race last week, like you said, there was a big crash, and it saw those two drivers fighting out for the win. They were working with lap cars there at the end as well. So that was a bit of an odd finish that most of us in the broadcasting business and even in the racing business, I don't think of really ever seen that before. So that was a very intriguing and exciting finish there to last week's race. But again tonight, Brandon Chiburko got some work to do here tonight, but we will see what he can do here in the B main 15 laps at Talladega Super Speedway. A little over a minute from gridding up here, Dakota.
Yeah, just about a minute away from green flag racing before we get back with the tandems, the pack racing. Talladega's so exciting. You can use that 3 wide. You can do all kinds of things at this kind of track that we can't do at Daytona. Daytona, you could see 3 wide. It was so much harder, such a tight track. You don't have individually marked lanes that you have at a place like Talladega. So Daytona just, again, tight, no lane marks, no lanes marked. It's just overall, it's a spotter's nightmare, it's a driver's nightmare. You get to Talladega, it's a little bit more in your hands and in your control because you can see what's going on. What's going on around you. You've got more lines, you've got something marked, you know how much generally how much room between you and the next driver. Spotters can see a little bit more. It's not night. That's another thing that really helps these guys. It just Talladega seems to provide better racing than Daytona generally, especially with the fact that you can go 3 wide.
And another thing to mention is, of course, the tri-oval is probably the trickiest part of this track, Dakota, here at Talladega Super Speedway. It can get very hairy in the tri-oval, especially when you're in a big pack and you're doing those 2-car drafts. And, it'll be interesting to see if we see anybody get a little squirrely going through there and possibly wreck. We hopefully don't see that, but that is a very tricky part of the track. And, of course, the start-finish line is past the tri-oval, as I think it is time finally to grid up for the B main.
3 go home tonight officially, but that could not be the case. We could have that 1 provisional, I do believe. No, even with the provisional, 3 go home tonight. But here we go. They are gridding, and we're getting set for 15 laps at Talladega Super Speedway. Scott Finstemacher in the 27, and the 14 of Michael Pimpere will make up row number 1, positions 1 and 2.
Row number 2 will be the 29 of Michael Bowles, and to his outside, we've been talking about him, the 39 of Brandon Chiburko will roll off 4th.
Matthew Nichols will roll off in the 5th position in row number 3 in the 47 machine, with Greg Hooks in the 98 rolling off in 6th on his outside.
Starting 7th is the number 65 machine of Oren Jensen to his outside, and the 8th position will be the number 22 of Stefan Meyer.
How about rolling off in 9th position, the 72 machine, Ivan Garcia on his outside, the 43 machine, Tyler McDonough, 9th and 10th position cars, row number 5, that is.
Row number 6 will be the number 25 machine of Gary Schneekin to his outside, the number 8 car of Dana Osborne starting in 12th.
Gary Tarvin going to roll off in the 13th position, the 17 shell car there, with the 14th position car being the 21 of Glenn Hedrick.
Starting in 15th in the final row on the grid tonight will be Phil Foltz in the number 71 machine. To his outside, starting 16th place tonight, Dakota, will be the number 06 of Mark Brown.
I'll tell you what, Phil Foltz had been on a streak. He won 2 heat race number 3 races in a row, like 2 weeks in a row. He won heat race number 3, locked himself in the feature race. I think he struggled in nearly, at least the first trophy dash he struggled. Second one he was all right, but Phil Foltz's streak comes to an end, and he'll start at the rear of the field in this B main 15th, about what he did at the start of the season. But man, here we go, getting set, working through the backstretch, and we're about to go green flag racing.
Again, a 2.66 mile track here at the Talladega Super Speedway. We've mentioned it several times, and we will probably mention it several more times. The start-finish line is past the triangle here, unlike at Daytona. These guys will be making moves all over the place, coming to that checkered flag here. 15-lap race. Scott Finstemacher leading them to the green flag. The number 27 machine to his outside. The number 14, Michael Pimpre, both of those drivers will lead them to the field. And gotta mention here, Dakota, starting in fourth, Brendan Chaburko, who we talked about tonight. He's got some work to do to lock himself into the feature this evening, our points leader currently, last week's winner. So it'll be very interesting to keep an eye on him and the rest of the field as they work into the driveway now to take the green flag.
And I tell you what, new change is coming next week. These cars are going to be the same cars, but they will sound a little different. They may even drive a little different. We don't know. We'll see. But looking forward to next week. But right now, green flag is out. We're sticking with this week at Talladega Super Speedway. Scott Finstemacher leads to the green flag, and he has the company from the 29 of Michael Bowles all over the bumper of that number 27 machine with a 14 of Michael Pimpre and a 39 of Brendan Chaburko, points leader, working on the outside.
Outside lane did not get a great start, Dakota. They fall back a little bit here on the outside, rather. So it'll be very interesting to keep an eye here to see if that outside, the 39 and the 14, can get back together. Remember, though, as if Brandon Chaburko has to use the provisional, I mean, he has to complete at least 8 laps in this 15-lap race to be eligible for the provisional tonight. So that is, of course, only if he needs that, as right now he's running about 6th place there on that outside lane. The outside, only 4 cars right now trying to get together and pull the inside, but right now the inside line seems to be the place to be.
That it does, but maybe not for long. I have a feeling you got to keep your eye on that 39 again. Won the feature race last week in probably dominating fashion. And you always got to have your eye on the 39. Points leader really has to make it into the show, and here they come on the outside. 14, Michael Pimpre, 39, Brendan Chaburko making a run on the 29 of Michael Bowles, and the 27 of Scott Finstemacher. How about the 98, Greg Hooks back there on the outside? He's the 3rd car on the outside. Then you have the 47 of Matthew Nichols, 3rd car on the inside. How about the 65 hanging back there too? That's Oren Jensen. And man, too wide, all the way through.
Yeah, everybody right now pretty much too wide, except there are a couple of cars there about mid-pack. The 8 car of Dana Osborne, and then just ahead of him is the 72 machine, who is also currently Ivan Garcias is hanging out kind of as a single car right there. Do want to point out, though, that Phil Foltz in the 71 has already lost the draft, Dakota, so that's not a good start to his B main here.
Definitely not a good start for Phil Foltz here in the 71 machine. He needs to give you a live car loose in the draft big time there. He's probably hoping for a wreck here, as he could be one of the 3 cars that does not make the show. 17 also losing the draft, 15th position. He's kind of losing. He still got it, but I mean, he could lose it if he doesn't get his current gear go. Double file throughout most of the field. Brendan Chaburko outside, up front, 3 wide. Chaburko going backwards. Chaburko is currently sitting, or was sitting, in the 5th position. No!
Oh, there they go.
22 wrecks.
And he will take the 72 with him as they both spin coming off of turn number 2, and that'll end their days more than likely. It didn't look like they hit the wall, though, but they did spin with some contact between the 2 of them. So now this has made this front pack here, again, no cautions here tonight, but right now we've got decent group up front now, as it looks like the 29 car had a little bit of an electrical issue there coming off the turn. Not sure if that's going to amount to anything or not, but we'll have to keep an eye on that as you watch the E1 there and see what happened to the 22 and the 72 machines. But back up front, nothing has changed since the start. The 27 car of Scott Finstemacher is continuing to show the way.
That he is. Out that 47, Matthew Nichols getting help from the 65 of Oranges, and they moved up to the outside lane. Here it comes, Chaburko outside 3 wide. He has help from Greg Hooks. They're using the very outside lane. I told you it does work here, and here they come. Trying to, oh! Fitzmacher, apron. He's going to check out the inside lane. He had bowls all over his bumper against the apron, and there they go. Trying to get going again now. It looks like Fitzmacher moves up to the middle, and they're going 4 wide here. 47 looks like he's prevailing. That's Matthew Nichols. 3 wide behind him now. Is there 2 wide up front for the lead? Nichols all the way outside. Here comes the 65 of Warren Jensen to the middle. And yeah, 3 wide. They're going to go 2 wide here before long. But it looks like the 65 in the best spot if he can get help. Because the 27, 29 just got hooked up. 98 to the outside. 3 wide. 39 going with them. Here we go. 3 wide once again.
Yeah, and Dakota, the 47 of Matthew Nichols, who led that time by, has now dropped all the way to the back of this pack due to the fact that he had no help. The guy that was working with him, which I'm pretty sure was Brandon Chaburko, kind of got left out, and now Brandon Chaburko is pushing Greg Hooks on that far outside lane. They've got a little bit of momentum heading into the tri-oval, trying to work their way up to the front of the field right now. But still continuing the way, or continuing to show the way, is the 27 of, boy, Brandon Chaburko got really almost underneath the 98 of Greg Hooks there, and he almost turned him. That was very close, but those two get it sorted back out. But up front, Scott Fenstermarker currently leading the way here at Talladega.
But Greg Hooks and Brandon Chaburko coming on the outside lane in a hurry. Inside lane, it was not really pushing right now, and that could cost them some time here because here comes the 98-39 with a huge run. Before the 29 can even get to the bumper of the 27, they're going to be outside the leader, it looks like, because they're now hooked up on the inside, but so much momentum being carried on the outside. Can the inside hold them off? Or, you know, even if Greg Hooks gets cleared, will he leave his drafting partner of Chaburko? It looks like he's not yet, but the turn's not over. He could at any time, at any point, just drop down. Looks like Chaburko is now even with the leader, and if they can carry where they are off the turn, if they can keep the momentum rolling on the outside lane, they can clear them into 3. They're not keeping the momentum rolling inside, carrying the momentum this time down the back straightaway, side by side, door to door, heading into turn number 3.
Yeah, right now, Dakota, the top 10 on the racetrack are going 2 by 2 as they head off into turns 3 and 4. Currently, the 27 still continues to lead in this 15-lap B-main race, but we got another player coming up here, though. That third car on the outside line, Dakota, the 8 of Dana Osborne, creeping into the picture here with 7 laps to go. So we got some. Well, Brandon Chaburko got a little squirrely there, entering turn number 1, peaked to the outside. That may have been just to cool his engine. He's been pushing for several laps now with that 98 of Greg Hooks.
In the 12th place transfer position currently is Glad Hedrick, who is currently sitting one of the last cars, the last car I do believe, in the lead pack, kind of a little ways back, looking to dodge the wreck. Currently Brendan Chaburko, if he were to wreck, he would be the provisional, but if he finishes the race, the provisional would be the 17, who is currently not in the top 12. He's currently running in the 13th position.
17 is Gary Tarvin, so good catch there, Dakota. We'll have to keep an eye on a lot of storylines going on here at Talladega. With only 6 laps to go, Brandon Chaburko keeps drifting to the outside trying to cool that engine. But also want to point out that the 06 car, Mark Brown, who started dead last year in this B-main, has worked his way up to about 9th place right now, and he's hanging right behind these top 8 that are 2 by 2 by 2. So I have to keep an eye here on Mark Brown and see if he can creep up into the final stages here and take a win.
And how about Hooks? Around Fenstermacher, leaves Chaburko on the outside. Oh, Fenstermacher coming up the track. It was net code, big time net code on the 17 there, 27 there.
Yeah, it's got Fenstermacher, the only one involved in this crash, spins through the tri-oval. He didn't make any contact with the wall, but he's trying to get that car back going straight again so he doesn't lose any more positions, which is going to be difficult for him to do because Gary Tarvin and Phil Foltz are going to be creeping up here on his outside, and they are overtaking him right now. So we now have a bit of a battle for the 12th place or between Phil Foltz and Gary Tarvin.
And how about up front? Chaburko, the outside with Orange Jensen. They're coming with a huge run on the outside, kind of pinching down 39.98. Coming to lap 12. This would be the white flag if you were in the trophy dash. This is the B main, so it is exactly 3 to 4 laps longer. Here we go. As Chaburko almost led that lap. It was Greg Hooks leading the lap last time by. Chaburko had just about a nose going into turn number 1. Now the 29 backs off the 98. The 29 has got to be hot. 65 of Orange Jensen all over the bumper of the 39. Here they come with a huge run on the outside down the back straightaway and towards turn number 3. Chaburko may clear the 98. He does. He dives right down, and now the 98 is able to get to the bumper of the 39, and they can start pushing right away and maybe pull away here just a little bit.
Yeah, and just wanted to point out, Dakota, that back here, Phil Foltz and Gary Tarvin, of course, battling for that 12th place position, made a switch entering turn 1, and now we have the 71 of Phil Foltz, who will currently ride in the 12th position with coming to 3 to go right now, so we'll have to keep our eye on this battle between these two cars. Funny how their numbers are just reversed, Dakota. One's in the 71 and one's in the 17.
And how about that? What you got to look at here is, you know, the 17 is currently the bubble, or was the bubble position. If he finishes in the top 12, the 27, I do believe, is locked in. But here's what they can do, and I think this is what they're doing. They can let the 71 finish 12th and the 17 finish 13th, and they're both locked in that way.
Yeah, absolutely, Dakota. That would be the ideal game plan right there between those two, because then everybody is a winner, and we'll have to see if they do keep that up, coming to 2 laps to go. Up front, though, Brandon Chaburko doing what he needs to do as he makes a switch right now, it looks like, with Greg Hooks as they enter turn 1. And I believe that'll... Boy, that's going to be... Oh, crash! 65 goes around with the 14, I believe that was, pushing him. That was a big crash right there that happened at about the 4th position, Dakota.
It doesn't look like it matters who's locked anymore. 65, big trouble. 14, big trouble. Smoke, big trouble. I mean, it looks like, it starts with Michael Bowles diving to the inside trying to take the spot from the Brandon Chaburko 39 machine, and it didn't quite work because he lost all his help. Now there's three cars bump drafting down the front stretch to the tri-oval on lap 14, coming to the white flag. Oh, they make a little contact, bumping each other up front right now for the lead. All three of them kind of get a little loose, maybe, pushing each other as they go through 1 and 2. It's going to be a matter of who makes the move, who goes up. If Chaburko goes up, he might have help, he might not. I mean, really, you got to keep your eye on this. At 98, 39, and 29, pretty good battle here. One car's left out either way here, though.
Yeah, absolutely, Dakota. One car will be left out because the other two are going to work with each other, or at least attempt to make a move for the win. Remember the start-finish line past the tri-oval here, so we have to keep an eye on that, see when these two behind Greg Hooks make a move. Going to be interesting to watch. Where will Brandon Chaburko go? He's not really going anywhere right now. He might be he might get spun, and the 29 spins. In the middle of the tri-oval, Michael Bowles goes around in the tri-oval. Greg Hooks wins the race. And the 29 car spun backwards across the finish line, I think, to come home in 3rd.
I think the 29 would have been alright with the 39 jumping up high, the 29 spinning the 39 down to the 90. I think that's what he was kind of looking at. They would sneak away with the win. Didn't quite happen. 14, Michael Paris, provisional transfer spot is the 72 of Ivan Garcia. Gary Tarvin came home 11th and Phil Foltz 10th. Tyler McDonough 9th. Mark Brown 8th. Matthew Nichols 7th. Gary Shank 6th. Dana Osborne 5th. Glenn Hedrick 4th, Michael Bowles 3rd, Brendan Chaburko 2nd, and again, your winner is Greg Hooks in the B-Main here at Talladega Super Speedway at the Super Speedway Cup Series, SSSeries.com. Now we try to talk to Greg Hooks.
And we want to give a big shout out there to Phil Foltz, who lost the draft at the beginning of the race and managed to end up making it into tonight's feature race. Dakota, you're down there with our B-Main winner, Mr. Greg Hooks.
Greg Hooks, man, you did it. You got it by 58 thousandths of a second. You beat Brendan Chaburko. Michael Bowles wrecked it in your mirror. What was going through your mind as you made that final switch and you see all this commotion behind you on the last lap?
Yeah, me and Brandon were really worried about that last switch. We saw that Michael and them were coming pretty quick, and he was going to try to get down as quick as he could. And I couldn't see what happened behind him. I could see smoke. I'm not sure what happened, but we got lucky making that one work there. And then luckily we were both able to get in.
Greg, man, how did you end up being up front after 15 laps? What do you do to manage to put yourself in a spot like this to be in victory lane here?
It's so hard. My strategy changes every race pretty much. First of all, you gotta make sure you survive. So you try to keep yourself out of situations that you think are gonna be dangerous, drivers that you think might cause a problem, and just staying with Brandon there, making the switches, keeping ourselves cool, doing what we had to do up there. It's just a lot of back and forth with it.
And man, when it comes down to it, when you start from the 13th position in the feature race, can you get up to the front? What's the strategy going to be there?
Well, me and Brandon should be starting 13th and 14th this one, so hopefully we can get hooked up cleanly at the beginning of this, at the A main, and try to make a run up to the front and try to stay up front most of the race, try to stay out of trouble and be there at the end.
All right, Greg, any shout-outs you'd like to throw out there?
Yeah, I'd like to throw a shout-out to my teammates at Slingshot Motorsports, Matt, Victor, Brandon, everybody tonight. ETV, Rod, and everybody at the Super Speedway Series.
All right, thank you, Greg, and good luck in the feature race.
Thank you.
And now, I think he thinks he's special. He's got HDRN on his little name tag there on his driver's suit, the HD Radio Network, because we are ETV Live, powered by the HD Radio Network. Thinks he's special, so he's sneaking up to the broadcast booth. Phil Fultz, Phil, man, you lost the draft at the start of that race. We didn't think you was going to be locked in the show. You managed to get in, and you finished, well in. I mean, you were kind of in a spot where you were, racing or drafting with the guy that was the provisional if he finished outside the top 12, and you just happened to be, and that was if the leader, Brandon Chaberco, or the guy up front, didn't fall out of the top 12. So the way you guys had it, you could run 12 and 13 with him running 13th position. You two be locked in. Did you guys even know that at the time? And what was that, the early laps like for you that puts you in the back?
Well, early on, I don't know, we misfired or something and didn't quite keep up the draft and fell off, and I guess he lost the draft, and I think he knew he was a provisional, and I didn't know, because after a while, the cars that were behind us that got tangled up in that early incident started gaining on us, and I told Gary, I said, buddy, we got to go. They're going to catch us, and we're going to lose even more spots. He said, well, we get down to the end, you get in front, and you can have 12th. I didn't know that he was the provisional, and I guess he knew, and figured if we finished 12th, 13th, we'd be in the show. And I said, well, let's just ride and hang out, because I think we're going to, if we pick up a couple more spots, we'll be well into it.
How about Gary Tarver being a team player there? Does that kind of make you feel like you want to help him out in the feature race?
Oh, absolutely.
We'll work with you like that?
We'll be starting in the back together. We might as well work together. We did pretty well there to maintain and pick off a few spots out of other people's mishaps, and come off 10th and 11th.
Yeah, nice job there.
So I mean, I blew all the heat races this week. Worse than last week. So at least I got to pick it up somewhere.
All right, man. Any shots you'd like to throw out there?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to the HD Radio Network. That's hdradionetwork.com. Powers the ETV Live.
And that'll cost you $10 there, Phil Fultz.
I know. I just got it. The producer just whispered in my ear that I got to fork up some money. So if he just wants to send me a bill, I'll pay right up.
All right, there you go. Well, we're gonna go ahead and let Phil Fultz get ready to climb back in a race car and try not to wreck the car. Good luck. Tired of you piling up cars back there behind the shop there. 4
wide, digging up the middle. We're going for the win.
How do you go 4 wide in the middle? It's not actually possible, folks. Don't listen to Phil. I don't think he knows what he's talking about. Either way, we're going to go ahead and step away, take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with more green flag racing action. The feature race, 30 laps with Super Speedway Cup Series, SSSeries.com. We are ETV Live, powered by the HD Radio Network.
Join 5,000 plus other listeners where you could hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV, live sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks. HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com. If you're a serious online racing enthusiast, you need Derek Spear Design, maker of high-quality, custom-built, and 50 caliber strong simulation racing products like button boxes, shifter pedals, component parts, and more. The advantage a championship sim racing driver needs. Rated 10 out of 10 by Inside Sim Racing TV. Check out his line of top-shelf sim racing products, reasonably priced at DerekSpearDesigns.com, and buckle in for a no-nonsense ride. DerekSpearDesigns.com today, cowboy.
And we're back live at Talladega Super Speedway, the Super Speedway Cup Series, SSSeries.com, here and getting set for the 30-lap feature race. Just about 5 minutes away from that feature race, and now going to be joining us up in the broadcast booth. It's going to be none other than Brandon Schuberko, current points leader, and I do believe he finished second in the last race, almost was turned, coming to the tri-oval in the final lap. He hung on to it, the other driver spinning out, saving it, coming across the line third, but Schuberko, points leader, your competition, Andrew Berger, running scared here tonight. He's not going to be here.
Yeah, good for me, bad for him, but hopefully I can maintain my strong finishes I've had this season. Now Andrew's been, every time he's been here, he's had really solid finishes, so this is definitely going to play out in my favor. Hoping I can get a top 5 here tonight, and we'll see what we can do to work our way through the field.
And nobody's forgot who won the feature race last week. We won't let them. It was you, and you led, I believe, 26 of the 30 laps. You did a fantastic job. Came down to just you and your competition, Andrew Berger, last week, who finished second. And then you had Marcus Lambert, who's also not here, finishing third. Do you feel a little bit better knowing that those guys that were second and third to you last week aren't here?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, that's going to hurt them in terms of their drop week. That's going to be a big hit. So hopefully I can have a solid finish tonight, and that'll play in my favor.
And man, you start in the back 14th, I do believe. What's the strategy there?
My strategy is basically to get to the front as soon as possible and hopefully avoid the chaos.
And we heard Phil Foltz say 4 wide up the middle. Is that your kind of strategy or no? I mean, I know we saw you use the outside lane, the 3 wide lane, quite a few times here so far.
Yeah, that's definitely my strategy, is going on the outside and hopefully getting past everyone.
Alright, well, good luck here in this feature race, Brandon Schuberko. Any shout-outs you'd like to throw out there?
Yeah, all my teammates at Slingshot Motorsports, Victor Bartlett, Greg Oaks, Matt Nichols, ETV for broadcasting, and Rod for throwing this lead together for us.
Alright, thank you, Brandon. Good luck again, buddy. There was, again, Brandon Schuberko, who will be in the feature race starting from the 14th position, second car to transfer from the B main. He would have been the provisional had he have finished outside the top 12 and completed at least 8 laps, but he didn't need that provisional. He actually, finished in there on time, did everything he needed to do.
Well, and Dakota, in a way, we kind of expect that from Brandon Schuberko. He's leading the points, as you mentioned there a couple times, and he was last week's winner, as we won't let anybody forget. But so we kind of expected him to get up there in that B main and make a a case for transferring into tonight's feature race without having to rely on that provisional spot, and that is exactly what he has done. And he will start tonight's feature race. And you heard the man; he's going to the front as quick as possible. So we'll have to keep an eye on that 39 car.
4 wide in the middle on the outside, I believe, is what he acknowledged. Seems, just about right. But tell you what, how about just a minute remaining, just a little over a minute remaining before we take the green flag at Talladega Super Speedway. 30 laps on the board for this feature race that is made up of the top 4 from each heat race. It makes up 3 heat races, 4, 4, and 4, which is 12. They had a trophy dash race. The winner of that starts on the pole. Again, starting order lined up from the top 12 would be the results of the trophy dash race, and then the B main, the top 12 from that race, advancing onto this feature race, and they will start in the order they finished from 1st to 12. I think it'd be kind of a cool thing, maybe a reverse. I think we might see that come. I'm going to suggest that to Rod. But why don't we go ahead and go down now for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Alright, that flyover brought to you by the virtual Thunderbirds there in the national anthem. How about making up the front row should be Victor Bartlett, Kerry Witt. Victor Bartlett having some problems. We'll start from pit road, but we're still going to read it off.
Yeah, starting third will be Terrence Donovan, who will move up to the pole position, though, and starting fourth will be Rod Flagg.
Raymond Evans going to start in the 5th position in the 83 machine. Again, we'll move up to row number 2. Rodney Wofford going to start 6th, making up row number 3.
Row number 4 will be Matt Bumpty, and to his outside, Matt Burkhart. A couple of Matts there on row 4.
The Matt and Matt Show. How about row number 5, consisting of Donnie Giratano and the 15 of Josh Ball on his outside.
Starting 11th, the 53 of James Hudson, and Jimmy Tolliver to his outside.
Row number 7 will consist of the 98 of Greg Hooks, your B main winner, and Brandon Chaburka, your B main runner-up.
Row 8, the number 29 of Michael Bowles, who was spinning backwards going to the checker flag at the B main, and to his outside will be the 21 of Glenn Hendrick.
Row 9 will be the 8 of Dana Osborne and the 25 of Gary Shank.
Row 10, Matthew Nichols and Mark Brown.
Row number 11 will consist of Tyler McDonough and E71 of Phil Foltz.
Row number 12 will be Gary Tarvin in the number 17 and the 72 car of Ivan Garcias.
Michael Pimpere will round out the field starting 25th with the provisional spot. Again, everybody on the inside will move up one row because the leader did not start on the grid. Maybe a problem there. That'll cost him. There's no cautions here. Flagman told to take the night off unless it's a green, a white, or a checkered flag. Other than that, don't throw the yellow. I think they stole the yellow flag from him and taped up the yellow button and said, no, don't hit that. And so we're going to be going green flag racing, nothing but green flag racing. If it's a big wreck, it's still going to be green. I think we saw a big wreck last week. Pace car dives. We get set for the green flag. We broke through the tri-wall again a little ways down the front straightaway here. But once we get the green flag, it'll be Donovan leading the way with the 83 of Raymond Evans on his bumper. And now the green flag flies. Donovan is away with help from the 83 falling in line. But the 89 of Kerry Witt on his outside, he's sticking strong. The 23 of Rod Flag kind of backing up a little bit. Rod Flag trying to get back up to the bumper of the 89 already. But we're green flag racing in turn number 1 and 2 as the 89 dives down the inside. 23 and 7 now making up the first cars on the outside lane. But green flag racing off of turn number 2 and lap number 1 of 30.
Yeah, Dakota, just wanted to point out that Matthew Nichols, the 47 car, had started in 19th, and he's already lost the pack. I think he might be going back to pick up Victor Bartlett, actually. So this might be a little bit of a teammate move here on lap number 1. We'll have to keep our eye on that and see what those two do. But he immediately dropped to the back at the start. I thought maybe something was wrong with him, but I think he might be going back there to get Victor. But up front, lap number 1 is going to go to Terrence Donovan here. He will lead lap number 1 with the 83 all over his bumper.
Wonder what happened with that 47 machine. I wouldn't say he's backing up because he's not going slow enough to really back up. I wouldn't say he's probably just about, he's a little bit slower than Victor, but not enough to back up to somebody who's 11 seconds or, okay, maybe he is because he's not getting back up with Victor and starting to even out pace. I mean, he did back up quite a bit there for one lap. In the 42 will now be catching up to him. I do believe that there is no need for a pit stop, so these guys probably, banking on these guys wrecking up front. Speaking of up front, battle for the lead, 20, Matt Bontempi, 23, Rod Flag working the outside, and that's Donovan in the 73, and Raymond Evans in the 83 on the inside. Position 1, 2, 3, 4, they're battling for it.
Yeah, Matt Bontempi wasting no time getting to the front here, Dakota. He will lead that lap, I think. Yes, he does. Timing and scoring updated. He led the lap barely, though, over Terrence Donovan. As now, the 23 backed up just a little bit. That almost caused the crash with the 15 there of Josh Ball, who was about 4th in line on the outside. So far, though, pretty good racing up front. Everybody 2x2. Right now, looks, though, as the 73 of Terrence Donovan will lead him off into turn number 3.
That he will, but I wouldn't say he's alone. 83 kind of backing off the bumper of the 73 for a second there. 20 doing the same thing. He's losing a little bit of help from the 23. Rod Flag backing off the bumper. He's back on that bumper now. They're trying to push the 20 back up side by side with the leaders here as we go through the front stretch, through the tri-oval here at Talladega Super Speedway to cross the line to take lap number 4 of 30 at the start-finish line, and we head into turn number 1 in just a moment with the 20 car. Matt Bontempi looking on the outside of Terrence Donovan. Donovan led the last lap. Last time by, the time before that, it was Bontempi. Here we go once again. Coming off of turn number 2, we watch the outside lane to look to see if they make a move. 83 kind of backing off the bumper of the 73 of Donovan. And the outside making a little bit of a run, making a little bit of headway here. But will they have to back off? Will they have to cool down the engine before long here? We've been 4 laps of just pushing. I think it's about time that you see these guys cooling down the engines right now.
Absolutely, Dakota. Just want to point out real quick. Whoa, boy, we got one car there on the inside. I think that might have been Brandon Traburco, actually. He got really loose coming off turn 4. In fact, it was Brandon there. He got pretty loose there on the apron coming out of turn 4. Did a great job of saving that car, keeping himself from spinning out. So Brandon Traburco kind of hanging at the tail end of this lead pack. He's actually in the middle of a 3-wide situation right now. But I wanted to point out that Victor Bartlett and the 47 of Matthew Nichols are working together at the back of the pack. But up front, the 29 car, Michael Bowles, all alone on that 3rd lane, trying to make a move to the outside. Unfortunately, Dakota, I think he's going to stall out here in about, maybe 1 or 2 turns.
He may, Or
no, maybe
he may
not.
not. I mean, he has no help, and that's generally what you see when the inside lane or the middle lane, maybe all of them's checking up after a switch or something. He's hanging on strong. Outside lane has no help. Nobody's pushing anybody up there. He was going for a while. He has no help anymore, though. Chaburko coming to the outside. That might be the help he's looking for because he's still hanging on side by side. Bontempi pulls to the inside. Oh! They're going to wreck.
29 around. And I'm thinking that Brandon Chaburko...
No, never mind. No, he saved it. Big wreck afterwards, and Chaburko survives. Points leader. Will not die, as some might say. And there goes the 42 and the 47 just zooming right on by. That's 42 Bartlett and Nichols trying to make up spots on the right cars here. I'm going to go back trying to figure out exactly what happened here. And I know it started on the outside just above the car that was around Brandon Chaburko. So we look for the 39, lap 5 coming through to Tri-Oval. And it looks like he comes across the line for lap 6 going into turn number 1. The 29 of, I want to say that is Michael Bowles, who was in 6th position, comes down on the 23 Rod Flag. Flag goes down against the 53 kind of just puts the 29 around. They all came up, collect a few cars. If you watch Chaburko through all this, he sneaks through, and then there's a car that's wrecking in front of him, and he ends up getting tapped just a little bit by the cars that one of the cars coming down. Taps him a little bit, he saves it, but may have a little bit of damage on that 39 machine. Keeps on rolling, is now working with the 21 in 11th and 12th positions, respectively, with Terrence Donovan and Raymond Evans leading the way last time. By the way, we have a battle for the lead, though. Currently, Matt Bontempi outside, 53, James Hudson assisting, and it looks like Bontempi will lead the lap, and Bontempi almost cleared the inside lane.
Yeah, Dakota, this pack now where the leaders are, a couple laps ago, it was about maybe 16, 17 cars. Now it is only 8 cars. So we've got pretty much 8 drivers now that are continuing for the win, at least at this stage of the game. Brandon Chaburko currently running in 11th. He is about 4 seconds behind our leaders right now. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But up front, Terrence Donovan barely pulling out in front right now with the 20 car on his outside. Matt, though, starting to get a little bit of a run there with the 53 like you were mentioning. Assisting him, the 83 got a little squirrely entering the try over there. But those two are tied basically at the line, but it'll be the 20 car leading again. Very close right there if that would have been the finish.
How about Phil Foltz up there? 3rd car on the outside lane. He was 6th last time he crossed the start-finish line. Phil Foltz, 71, started from the rear of the field. He started 22nd, currently running 6th up front. Fantastic run. He almost didn't make it into this race. This has got to be one of the best runs he's ever had in a feature race. To be this far into the race, not wrecked out and running up front still in a small pack of cars that remains. I mean, that's just a fantastic job. Phil Foltz getting it done here in the 71 machine. How about Bontempi and the 53? James Hudson going backwards. Those two separating, trying to cool the engine down. And the 53 is trying to cool his engine down. Let's go with the 20 car go backwards. Phil Foltz now coming the inside of the 20 car. Here comes the 06 as well, trying to come underneath James Hudson and Matt Bontempi. The 06 of Mark Brown, that is, with Terrence Donovan, Raymond Evans still leading this train of cars on the inside lane. Behind them, about 4 seconds back, you see Glenn Hedrick, Brendan Chaburko trying to catch up as well. Josh Ball and Dana Osborne, 2.9 seconds back each. But, I mean, these guys have a little bit of catching up to do, but they can still catch these leaders.
Yeah, Dakota, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw these top 8 cars here in our lead group kind of get single file and try to log some laps. We're only on lap 10, coming to lap 11 here of 30, but Phil Foltz, though, oh, boy, the 06 of Mark Brown almost hit Phil Foltz coming off of turn number 4 and almost spun him around, but Phil Foltz is making some moves on the outside here. He's passed a couple of cars virtually by himself here on this outside line, as now they are catching a slower lap car traffic here. The 17 machine who lost his draft there at the beginning of the race, and that's Shell Penzo Chevy. They will he'll stick to the outside and let these leaders go. But I would imagine and almost kind of hope that the leaders here just kind of get single file and ride this out until the end. Or not, about called you Trevor, but Dakota to make sure that they have a car there for the finish.
Well, call me Trevor. We'll just call Greg Wood, or George Wood Greg Wood. How about that? But Raymond Evans to the outside of the leader. Here comes Phil Fultz to the bumper of that 83. Never mind, he makes a 3. I don't even know what Phil Fultz is doing. He looks outside, inside, gets a little loose, backs off. 20 car goes high, 53 following, and that will cost the outside lane a little bit of time. Behind them, everybody 2 seconds back when it comes to the leader, points leader, that is Brandon Chaburko, who's in 12th position. He and Glenn Hedrick, Josh Ball, Dana Osborne, each 2.3 and 2.5 seconds out, not far out of the lead. They're actually gaining time on these leaders. Leaders have to go. They have to push, and they've got to get. I mean, they cannot waste time just right in the single file line, not pushing. They're not making up as much time as those guys tandeming behind them are. As you see, the 83 and 71 working the outside. That is Raymond Evans, 71, Phil Foltz. Looks like the 89 and Kerry Witt and Terrence Donovan up front are leading. And they are pushing strong, so these guys have finally picked up the pace. They're trying to widen this gap on those cars behind them, and with the big pack they have, they could do this. Tandeming and being in the big group they are, they could make this a lot smaller gap. But it looks like Josh Ball, Dana Osborne will make up 4/10 last time by, just about. Glenn Hedrick and Brandon Chaburko not so lucky, maybe about a 10th.
Boy, but Dakota, those guys are coming. I mean, they are catching our lead group here. They were about 4 seconds behind a few laps ago, and now they're within 2.5 seconds. So they've really made up some time on this lead group. And look who has jumped into the lead now, the 83 Raymond Evans, being pushed by Phil Foltz, who now will jump into the second position here on lap number 13, going to lap 14. This is, as always with Super Speedway Racing, it's anybody's race, but right now, Dakota, this truly is anybody's race. We've got a lot of players up here. We've got more coming that are only about 1.5 to 2 seconds behind. Working in that two-car draft, Josh Ball, Dana Osborne, Glenn Hendrick, and of course our points leader, Brandon Chaburko. So this could be a wild finish here if these guys keep going like this, but here comes a big run on the outside. With for the lead, we're going 3 wide for the lead, heading into turn number 3. The 20 car, Matt Bunty, is being pushed by the 53 car, I believe that is, and they're going to leave Phil Foltz in the middle with no help.
He's got help. The help is just a little hesitant. That's Donnie Garitano. As you see Phil Foltz jump in line now, these guys can come down. Phil Foltz is a little newer, I would say, compared to some of these guys. I wouldn't say that they're comfortable with him yet. He's still a little newer to the league. I don't think they're comfortable going 3 wide with him quite yet. Especially with, I know Phil Foltz has admitted he had a pretty hectic first few weeks, or at least first week, that kind of maybe scared a few of the drivers when it comes to 3 wide conditions and things like that. But how about the 8 and 15 have caught the lead pack? They are now with them, as when you look back at the other cars, still 2.1 seconds back, not making up near as much time. But Josh Ball, Dana Osborne within a second from the leaders.
And that they are there at the tail end of the lead pack, like you mentioned. The 8 car of Dana Osborne is trying to push the 06 of Mark Brown right now, is trying to get the 15 to cool off just a little bit before they start continuing to push their way up through the field. The 83 car, though, continuing to lead here at Talladega.
I'll tell you what, we're 16 laps into this 30-lap event at Talladega Super Speedway Cup Series. Why don't we go ahead, step away, take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with the final 15 laps at Talladega Super Speedway Cup Series. Again, we are ETV Live, powered by the HD Radio Network.
InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
we're back. Green flag racing at Super Speedway Cup Series Talladega Super Speedway. Lap 19 of 30 on the board. 83 Raymond Evans leads the way. Terrence Donovan on the bumper of that 83. Here's the 20 and the 53. That's Matt Bontempi. And the 53, James Hudson working the outside lane. They have, yeah, the 15's up there as well. Josh Ball, he had just ran down the lead pack, and now he's coming to the front in the outside lane. Josh Ball is coming in a hurry. How about that 15 machines? They're 3 wide up front. James Hudson on the outside of the 20. The 15's going to the middle. I don't know. They don't know where they're going. Big check up outside lane. 3 wide behind them. 2 wide with Phil Fultz and the 15 of Josh Ball. And Terrence Donovan jumps to the outside looking for help from the 20 at Matt Bontempi.
Yeah, business is picking up here. Dakota, we're coming to start lap number 20 here. That means 11 laps to go. At Talladega, the 20 car picks up the 73. Trying to get the 73 of Terrence Donovan to push into the lead. Right now, Terrence Donovan clear of the 83. And I think the 20 might clear him coming off the turn. He will. And those two will drop down in front of the 83 car. Raymond Evans, who had been leading the last several laps, that we saw here on Side by Live on ETV Live. And right now, new leader, the 73, Terrence Donovan. He's usually a player here in this series, Dakota, so not surprised to see that 73 car out front right now. But this is anybody's ball game, as it usually is. But I tell you what, Josh Ball has got a quick car, like you were mentioning there, Dakota. Remember, he won a heat race earlier tonight, I do believe. And tonight, he has chased down the lead pack from several seconds back. Now he's hanging out in 5th place.
You know what we call these final 10 laps as they come across the line to take 10 to go. We call these final 10 laps the Inside Sim Racing Final 10 or 10 to go. Sponsoring the Thursday Night Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault Series. Inside Sim Racing, your first and best choice for all news and reviews in the online motorsports. Join Darren Ganji and Sean Cole for the latest and greatest in product reviews, simulation, auto racing games for PCs and the Xbox crowd. From steering wheels to full-size racing rigs, updates on popular racing games, and a whole lot more. The yellow pages of online auto racing. Inside Sim Racing has it all. Visit them at isrtv.com. Here as we work through, I do believe, the tri-oval coming across the line for 9 to go. Donovan leads the way. Bontempi on the bumper. Bontempi goes high, and he's got company. He's got help from the 53, the guy he's been working with most of the race. They get together and get hooked up before the 83, and Donovan that's Evans and Donovan on the inside. They've been working together quite a bit. They just got hooked up. Here comes the outside lane with a big head, just a big lot of momentum.
Yeah, 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 as they head into turn number 3 and 4. This is, again, as these guys do every week, Dakota, and they put on fantastic racing here on Friday nights, and coming to get 8 laps to go. I think we're setting up for another fantastic finish like we've seen, at least I've seen every week since I've been here broadcasting with you. So looking forward to seeing another one here tonight. But Terrence Donovan continuing to show the way with the 83 car, Raymond Evans right behind him. And that outside lane is kind of breaking up just a little bit, but the 20 car does have some help with the 53 of James Hudson. They're trying to make that outside lane work right now down the back straightaway.
8 laps remaining, 7 to go at the start-finish line. It is Matt Bontempi, James Hudson outside lane, kind of creeping in on the leader. That's the 73 on the inside. Terrence Donovan is zone. Hudson goes up, trying to cool down the engine, or maybe just wasn't ready to make the corner. He's on the corner panel. He cannot get off. He's got to lift, and they lose time on the outside lane. Here comes Josh Ball to the bumper of the 53 of James Hudson. He's got to lift. He's got nowhere to go. And how about Phil Fultz on the inside of the 53 of James Hudson? Side by side back there for just a few spots back. As here they come on the outside, trying to make another charge, trying to make another surge, and retake the lead over if they possibly can. 73 and 83 really strong on the inside. That is, again, Terrence Donovan and Raymond Evans working the inside with Matt Bontempi and James Hudson the outside, as they almost split up again on the outside, checking up big time. They're losing a lot of time.
Yeah, Dakota, but look here, we got another, making another run to the front, rather, is the 71 of Phil Fultz. Making that inside work right behind the 89 car, who I don't think we've talked about yet in the feature race, and if we have, I wasn't paying attention. But anyways, the 89 car of Kerry Witt has jumped into the 3rd position, and oh boy, him and Phil Fultz make contact there coming off of turn number 4. Phil Fultz got very squirrely, and oh, he's going to get spun
There goes Phil!
by Mark Brown. This is going to take out at least 5, maybe 4 or 5 cars right there at the start-finish line. Tough break there for those guys.
Yeah, Phil wanted to get down. He couldn't get down. 06 was right there, and They finally make contact, and that would put the 71 around in front of the field. 06 and him made contact. They collect the 8 of Josh Ball, who had just ran down the leaders, and it looks like the 39 narrowly escapes, maybe gets the wall a little bit. He may move up a spot or two here out of this. He's now working with the 3 of Donnie Garitano, who was scored 7th last time across the start-finish line, and now they set their sights on the group in front of them and try to run it back down, as they are. That's Bob Montempi in the 53 of James Hudson, working the outside lane, followed back in a hurry. They cannot make the outside work for anything. They keep trying, they keep trying, they keep trying. They won't go, it seems like. And how about Kerry Witt and Josh Ball staying up there? Josh Ball received damage from that incident. I do believe he was kind of collected, so he's got to be careful what he does here. Make sure the car's not too damaged. Maybe toe could be knocked out. Anything here. He's got to be really steady in the wheel. Coming up on 5 laps remaining. Going to be 4 to go at the start-finish line. Let's look off a turn number 2.
Here comes the 89 of Kerry Witt with help from Josh Ball on the outside. They make a move for the lead heading down the back straightaway. And Dakota, I think they're going to get it, as they had a huge head of steam. Well, never mind though. The 73, Terrence Donovan, and Raymond Evans and the 83 car are going to pull basically even with those two guys now on the outside line. But wait a minute, here we go again. The 89 is trying to jump down to the bottom lane. I think he's going to do it. That'll leave Josh Ball to fend for himself up there on the outside, but he does have help coming in the number 20 car. Just about a half car length back. The 20 car should pick up the 15 here, and he will in the middle of turns 1 and 2. So Josh Ball with some help, and again, Dakota, he's got a very fast race car in that 15 car, but new leader, Kerry Witt in the 89.
I think if the 89 had stayed up high, he could have got help from the 15. The 15 was doing well. The 73, the 83 were hot, so the 83 could not push. The inside lane was not going to go anywhere. The momentum they had built up, they were going to keep going. They were going to be able to clear both cars by the time they got through the backstretch, I do believe, and just weren't able to do it. It looks like the 89 just jumped down. Now he has help from the 73. Don't count out the 15. Josh Ball coming back on the outside. He has help from the guy who can. It seems like when Matt Montempi's up front, he's on the outside pushing. He cannot lead, but when he's pushing, the outside lane is moving, and that's how they're moving right now. Matt Montempi on the bumper of the 15 of Josh Ball. Again, I believe Josh Ball has some damage. Here they are side by side with the 83 and the 3. That's Raymond Evans and Donnie Garitano. Again, outside is the 15 of Josh Ball and the 20 of Matt Montempi. Montempi falls off Ball and tries to get back in line. Here comes the 53 of James Hudson. He's going to stay in line with the 20. You see the 53 maybe going inside. Never mind. He's staying right on the bumper of the 20. 20 goes inside. 53 trying to follow. 15 falling back here. 3 laps remaining, 2 to go at the start-finish line.
Yeah, Dakota, one of the things I wanted to mention that is kind of developing here, Brandon Chaburko was running with these guys, but now he is fallen off of the lead draft right now. In the 39 machine, he's currently in 8th place. He was with these top 7 drivers, but now he is lost. He's right at about a second behind these top 7 right now, so Brandon Chaburko falling back. And it's going to be a long ways until he finds another car if he continues to lose this lead draft, which he will do, as 1 car compared to 7 is not going to do too much for you there. So Brandon Chaburko came in our points leader, currently running 8th, but losing time to our front 7, as those front 7 cars, led by Kerry Witt in the 89 machine, make their way off of turn number 4 here, Dakota. They are coming down to get the white flag. 1 more turn to go as the 73, Terrence Donovan, makes a move to the outside, and he does have help from Raymond Evans.
Money lap, and it's coming to the 73. 73 going to take the white flag. 89 on the inside all by himself. He's not going to have any help. And there he goes, falling back in a hurry. 73, 83 working together. That is Terrence Donovan, Raymond Evans going in a hurry. How about Josh Ball on the outside all by himself? 53, James Hudson gets the outside wall. He'll come down the apron, save it, collect himself, but stay down, let Brandon Chaburko go. 15, Josh Ball looking for help. He's not getting any. The 3 and Matt Bontempi. That's Donnie Garitano and Matt Bontempi looking the outside. There goes Garitano to the bumper of Ball. They're trying to run down the leaders. They may not have enough time as the leaders work through 3 and 4. Donovan leading the way. Evans in second position. I don't think these guys have enough time, so we keep our eye on the leader up here. We wait for the 83 to maybe make a move. 83 laying off the bumper of the 73. He's going to leave the 73 helpless. Here he goes, the outside. 73 pinching up. Long way down to get to the start-finish line. Here they go side by side to the tri-oval. It's going to be the 83's coming close.
He got him.
Photo
I think
finish.
he got him.
It looks like the 83 wins.
Yes, he did. Raymond Evans beats him at the line. Boy, what a great finish.
Wow, Raymond Evans gets to victory lane in Super Speedway Cup, SSSeries.com. round number 8 at Talladega Super Speedway, the feature race. That number 83 machine.
And boy, Dakota, he timed it perfectly coming off of turn number 4. The 73 of Terrence Donovan tried to make a little bit of a block on him, but it was too late as Raymond Evans was already to his outside, and they drag raced through the tribal. The 83 made that last push as you're watching the replay here on the E-Wind, and just barely beats Terrence Donovan to the checker flag. I mean, wow, what a great finish right there, Dakota.
Man, that was just a fantastic finish. So close at the start-finish line. Just what an amazing finish there. The 83-73 working together perfectly. And really, I mean, this was a very well-deserved win. You watch us coming across the line. It couldn't be any closer. We got maybe a few camera angles on this. That was an insane finish. I don't even... let's look at the finishing gap. It was 0.004 of a second. He barely got that one. And when you see him on the start-finish line, it looks like a little bit more. But I mean, 0.004 of a second, that's not much at all. You should be able to barely tell as the 83 edges out the 73 across the start-finish line here at Talladega Super Speedway.
Great finish there as you look at the official standings here, the results from tonight's events. But Raymond Evans in that 83 car, he's burning it down there at the start-finish line. Super pumped, and well, as he should be, of course. And what a great win, though, by him, and just an unbelievable finish. I mean, Dakota, that was... can you even blink that fast? I mean, that was just a very, very close finish.
Insanely close, Chad. Man, that was just, you know, best finish. I think it's one of the best finishes we've ever seen. I think we've seen even closer when it comes to Super Speedway Cup. They've always provided fantastic racing. But while we try to gather our post-race show up, we're going to go ahead and step away, take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with more interviews. This is, again, Super Speedway Cup Series, SSSeries.com. We are ETV Live, ETV-eplay.net, powered by the HD Radio Network.
If you're a serious online racing enthusiast, you need Derek Spear Design, maker of high-quality, custom-built, and 50 caliber strong simulation racing products like button boxes, shifter pedals, component parts, and more. The advantage a championship sim racing driver needs. Rated 10 out of 10 by Inside Sim Racing TV. Check out his line of top-shelf sim racing products reasonably priced at DerekSpearDesigns.com, and buckle in for a no-nonsense ride. DerekSpearDesigns.com today, cowboy. Join 5,000 plus other listeners where you could hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV live sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks. HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.
And we're back live at Talladega Super Speedway with the SSSeries.com Super Speedway Cup Series. We're standing by with your post-race show. Couldn't quite get a hold of the race winner, but we do have our second place finisher. He lost it by 0.04 of a second, Terrence Donovan. So close yet so far here with a 30-lap feature race, man.
Yeah, that hurts. I was going for my first win there. I guess Ramon got his first, so congratulations to him. We had a pretty good race there, the two of us. So, I'll take the points, but win would have been pretty nice.
And man, were you two working together like most of the race? I know that you guys were working together throughout a lot of it. We saw you guys working together and pushing a lot. Was there any communication when it came down to the last lap call to shoot to the outside and run away there?
No. I mean, I don't think we said a word the whole race. I don't even know if his mic was on. So it was just sort of unspoken that he did a pretty good job pushing me for so long. I led a lot of laps there because of him.
And man, Terrence, you just 0.04 of a second. How disappointing is that as a driver? But I mean, do you get to look forward to next week and maybe redeeming yourself and coming home with the win?
Yeah, I'm going to get a win this season. It's been a long drought. I haven't gotten a win yet. I actually have the most wins in the series, but they're all heat wins and Dash for Cash.
All right, man, and I'm going to go ahead and give you a chance to throw out any shout-outs you may have here.
Oh yeah, shout out to Rodney, my teammate. Shout out to the Boston Police and FBI, all those guys that caught the guys today, so I could race with a good peace of mind and calm down the area here. So yeah, it was a good night.
All right, thank you, Terrence, and we will see you next week at Daytona International Speedway with the new sounding car.
Thank you.
And there was again Terrence Donovan, second place finisher. Now joining us up in the broadcast booth, the guy who runs the place. How about Rod Flag? And Rod Flag, man, welcome to the broadcast booth. I know you didn't get the finish you were looking for. I believe you were caught up in a wreck.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. You're not sure really what happened. Kind of looking back at things, 29 minute came down. Not sure, we were kind of in tight quarters there, but yeah, not the finish we wanted. I think we're pretty content finishing third place this season as far as points go. So it's pretty much a two-driver battle between Chaburko and Berger. But that hurts big time because we definitely had two races we thought would be drop weeks. Now this is three, so got to finish up front next two races or could be trouble. So maybe fighting for our third place.
And Rod, man, one other reason we brought you up here next season. Talk about it.
Yeah, next season's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, you got Gen 6, got the Fords and the Chevy, the SS, and the Fusion coming in. We're going to be going to a brand new format as far as we're keeping the heat formats, but all four heats are going to run at the same time. And the biggest thing the drivers wanted was smaller field sizes, in those preliminary events to transfer in, and so we're going to run all those. And I think it's going to be a fun experience. And I think we're also going to be able to at least televise one of those heats. Every week. So, that and expanding our driver roster, so I know anyone who's watching there who wants to get in, go to SSSeries.com, fill an application, and we're definitely looking to get some competitive but clean, super speedway drivers out there. So, but it should be fun. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be right around the corner, probably about a month and a half away, and glad that UTV's on for the ride.
And yeah, you said it there. You can catch all the action for the rest of the season and all of next on ETV Live. Again, powered by the HD Radio Network. Now we had a trophy dash race, which was consisted of 12 laps, a B main of 15, and a feature race of 30 tonight. Chad, man, sum up the racing and what you saw tonight.
Well, Dakota, as always, we saw some fantastic racing and another fantastic finish there at the end, with Raymond Evans taking home the victory just barely over Terrence Donovan. And wanted to point out that Raymond Evans came into tonight 28th in points. He'll jump up to 22nd with that win, and that was his first top 5 of the features this season. So it's kind of a great way to celebrate your first top 5 is to do it with a victory, and with that close of a finish, it makes it even better. But again, great racing. Always fun to watch these guys put on a great show. And looking forward to doing it next week with those new sounding race cars there, Dakota.
Definitely. Really looking forward to it. Glad to have you along for the ride up here with me in the broadcast booth. Chad Dalton again, Chad Dalton. But I tell you what, for all of us here at ETV Live, I am Dakota Ehrman, joined by Chad Dalton, John Wesley, and JD Webb. We'll catch you next week with round number 9 of the Super Speedway Cup Series at SoSeries.com at Daytona International Speedway.